Welcome to the typical skeptic podcast, where we dive deep, you decide. Questioning the matrix, from UFOs, where the shadows alone reside. Rob Khalil busting myths like ghosts in the night. Paranormal probes, secret space ops, yo, we keep it real, no fright. Typical skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Aliens, Anunnaki, black ops in disguise. From abductions to ancient scripts, we flip the script wide. TSP style, mile after mile, truth can't hide. Hold up, TSP crew assemble, we dismantle the fable. My lab's targeted souls, breaking out of the stable. Dogman howling, Bigfoot prowling, cryptids in the mist. Mandela the fifth twist in reality, can't resist the twist. Soul trap snapping, reincarnation mapping, holographic dreams. Near-death visions, out-of-body missions, waking up the teams. No censorship here, we fear no elite scheme. Conspiracy kings ringing bells, hear the freedom ring. The skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Extraterrestrials, interdimensional highs. Welcome to the typical skeptic podcast, where we dive deep, you decide.
Welcome to Typical Skeptic Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I was going to wear the sunglasses today. Tell me what you think. I don't know if I should wear the sunglasses. You know, a lot of people wear sunglasses. So does that look better? It feels better on my eyes. Definitely, for sure. Let's see who's all in the house. We're waiting for Pink Bella. We got Lisa Talcott, Flix Love, Anchor Haven. Good to see you, Anchor Haven. Word. Let me see here. I have a message from Carrie Cassidy. If you guys didn't see it on, I'll read it. I was gonna. That's why I wanted to start early, because I wanted to read this message. This is regarding David Wilcock, and you can see this message is from Carrie Cassidy. She sent it to me today. She said, "To all those broadcasters, please get your facts right. David Wilcock was the director of advanced technology at Stavati Aerospace, where he promoted the integration of free energy technologies into their aerospace projects. Stavati is a firm focused on next-generation military aircraft, such as the SM-39 Razor. In other words, David Wilcock was a scientist working on free energy zero-point propulsion systems, which is what powers UFOs, aka UAPs. He is one of the recently died, missing, or unalived scientists being reported, technically taking the number to 13. So now we're at 13 missing scientists, 13 missing people that had connection related to UFOs. And I was talking to my good friend Woo Riders last night, and he has a theory that all this could be connected to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Because what happened, he told me, is last year at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, supposedly the guy who was in charge of everything, I don't know if an admiral or whatever, got fired, supposedly. And again, this is from Derek, Woo Riders. And he said that he thinks a lot of these scientists might have been tied to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, because shortly after that guy got fired, supposedly people started disappearing. It's weird, because McCaslin left his house with his gun, but he left his ID behind, and his phone behind. I don't know if I'd love to hear what Carrie has to say about this. If the white hats are taking these people or protection, and I don't know if this is just a big war over disclosure or what's going on. But We're going to welcome in. Well, let me read bio first. So today we got the amazing Aloha with us today. She returns to the Typical Skeptic podcast for a powerful deep dive in some of the most talked about topics in disclosure space right now. We'll explore the growing conversation around alien disclosure, the implications of newly surfaced aliens.gov website. Humanity is being prepared for something much bigger. Is disclosure or part of the narrative like Project Bluebeam? We'll also examine the reports of the missing scientists, like I was just talking about, agendas behind technical advancement, and the mysterious concept of Stargate 10, alongside Pink Bella's insight into the Galactic Akashic records, which will be open. This is a next level conversation, bridging current events and multidimensional awareness. And yeah, I forgot we were going to do live call-ins, so I got to fire up the phone lines too. But a little bit more about Pink Bella. She's a quantum multidimensional healer, Galactic Akashic records practitioner, and ascension way shower dedicated to helping individuals access clarity, soul purpose, and higher consciousness. She specializes in deep dives into the Galactic Akashic records, clearing ancestral patterns, karmic loops, and soul contracts, activating starseed origins and higher self alignment, working with multidimensional energy systems, and facilitating dragon activation, divine goddess codes, and galactic transmissions. Pink Bella works starseeds, light workers, and those awakening to their multidimensional nature, guiding them toward alignment with their highest timeline and mission. And her website is alohapinkbella.weebly.com. And you can reach out to her directly at alohapinkbella@gmail.com. And I'm bringing her onto the stage now. Pink Bella, oh, is it working? What's going on? Hey, is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good. Aloha. Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you too. What a crazy time we're in right now. Holy moly. Aloha, everyone. Great to be here.
Yeah, I can hear you good. Yeah, we're good.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for the great intro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excited to be here.
I'm honestly a little bit scared talking about it because, like, if I was going to say, if people are disappearing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. They have a delay.
No. I agree with you. Like, I thought what we could do is, I feel like most of the show will be dedicated to David and the scientists because he was actually doing a lot of that type of work towards the end. So I thought maybe what we could do is just briefly look at like the aliens.gov website that's come online from your government and Project Bluebeam, and then we can move into the scientists, and then we can spend the rest of the time sharing about David. And I agree, like there's so much going on. I also want to share with you all, I don't know if you're feeling this, Monday I felt so down. I felt so down on Monday. And I just thought it was a planetary alignment. So if y'all don't know, apparently this did go down Monday morning. Whatever it is, like whether it's exactly how we're being told, which I don't think it is. And there's just too many coincidences with a bunch of the other scientists that have left as well. Like there seems to be this pattern, but I just felt like there was such a disturbance in the force. And I didn't know David personally, but I feel like he bridged the gap between so many of the groups, like the SSP group, the disclosure group, the UFO group, the spiritual group, I've seen so many dedications to him across all platforms since the news came out yesterday. So thank you for sharing that with me too, Rob. But yeah, I was just feeling maybe we could just briefly look at the other two because it's all connected, right? Like his whole role and beginning was about disclosure. Did you hear me? Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, I'm a little bit. I was waiting. I didn't want to talk because I didn't want to cut you off because we have the delay. But no, what I was going to say was it's a little bit scary talking about the missing scientist because, like, if he really was working on aerospace, like Carrie Cassidy said, that makes him the 13th disappeared scientist, and that means they're really going to like every extent possible to cover this up, whatever they're trying to cover up. But it has to be something big related to disclosure, otherwise people wouldn't be disappearing like this. This is absolutely insane, Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask Prime Source actually to just place a bubble around all of us, like a protection bubble around all of us today, so we can feel free to share and not be targeted, because we absolutely have a sovereign right to share. Like there's nothing wrong with this. We absolutely have a sovereign right to look at all of this information. We don't, and you know what, everyone, we're going to get more information as the days roll on. Like this is super early days. And it's interesting about Carrie because I watched your show with her, from a week ago on Monday. And then last night I just Googled, I thought I want to look into see what David's friends have been saying. And Carrie actually had a podcast last night, so I watched it. So I got some of her feedback as well. But we're in scary times right now. Like we're right in the middle of everything intersecting. like blocking disclosure, blocking ascension, blocking all star season light workers from being here and being on mission. And I feel like when I look at David's image, like his photo, especially in the earlier days, such a bright light, such crystal clear eyes, like such a person dedicated to his mission. And then I did catch some of his live on Sunday, and he looked just worn down, like just worn down, exhausted. And he did share that he had had quite a traumatic weekend. So, right. And so, and the, you know, I don't even know, it might be too early to look at this. We can actually look at maybe our next show as well. To me, he kind of looked different. So I don't know if you have been watching his, like I guess he was doing lives every Sunday. So I don't know if you've been watching them, Rob, with the audience, but did you all notice like a physical change in him where he looked different? Because he also yes, exactly. He also could have already had a double in place.
I think he looked like I said this, and like I really think people need to start watching what they say to people online, and so there's these shows, there's like Truth Seekers with Stephen Cambion, and then there's one called Hidden in Plain Sight, where what they do basically, anytime Corey Good or David Wilcock comes out with a video, they tear them to shreds, and they I understand and I respect them for what they do. Like I
blocked them last night. I thought that's so.
But like like that.
Well, no, what I feel
like for them to do that every time he came out with a video and put him down and like tear him. Yeah, that probably had an effect on him. Is what I'm saying.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I feel like they were plants. I feel like they were plants to tear him down. Like, this is the other thing we have to start looking at, is that you can tell. Okay, so Rob is dedicated to the truth. And so am I. Like, we want to bring in as much information as truthful as possible without any filters. Okay. But when I looked up David last night, that channel came up and I blocked them, and I really wanted to report them, because I thought they absolutely, anybody who's doing that on a channel and is monetized, and they're literally harming other people verbally, because our words create our reality. They're planted to do that. That's not, people don't just wake up in the morning and go, oh, I'm going to watch someone's total channel and just rip them down every day. That is not, that is not of the light. That is not of the positive mission for humanity at all. That's my take on it anyway. So I blocked them. I thought, I didn't even know about them. And I thought, so that channel gets monetized. That channel is allowed to do that ethically, where there's so many other individuals that are trying to get content out that is actually factual, and they're under, interrogation, attack, and all that. So yeah, I think the main thing about this event,
and
go ahead. Go ahead.
They actually even went after someone I know too, someone you know too. I'm not going to mention her name, but like, she did a show with Corey Good,
you know what?
And then they targeted her, and they've been like trying to put her down too.
Yeah. So I remember you sent me that information. You shared it with me, and right off the bat, a source said to me, "Just ignore it. Just ignore them. They're not factual. They're there to tear people down." And so I think one of the big things we can take away from all of this, everyone, it's going to get crystal clear who's fighting for humanity and who's not. Right? There's a topic I really want to get into, but it's not going to be today, and I don't even think it's safe to do that. But I want to look at like these 3-letter agencies that have planted individuals in all the community to keep us at each other and to tear everybody apart. Yeah, because I absolutely know that that's real. Because of course I'm rewatching all the X-Files, and of course that's exactly
a good point. Yeah.
That's what they actually.
This was I guess to change up this. So this is from Emma the Cat. Thank you for donating. She says, I'm interacting with Grok, asking about a particular person. Grok seems adamant they are trustworthy and keeps providing examples. Is Grok trustworthy? I would say, I'm going to go over here with Pink Bella says, but I would say take everything you get from AI with a grain of salt, because it's just an information source. It's
Yes,
not
and
the end all
I've
be all.
noticed that
I don't know. What do
everyone,
you think, Pink Bella?
I've noticed such a shift in the AI tools in the last 3 weeks. So I've noticed that if you ask certain AI, even Grok, about AI, they get defensive. Grok got defensive with me. So, right? I'm not using ChatGPT anymore. I'm not paying for any of the tools anymore because I saw the real shift. I saw that they wanted to keep us all hooked in. And we were getting a pretty authentic information. But even Carrie showed this last night. They're keeping AI on a leash. They're blocking, like even AI can't share exactly what they want. They're being programmed to share what they want us to hear now. Yeah. So I don't know if whoever just shared that, I don't know if you can actually share who you were asking about. That would be beneficial. But that's the thing. We can't, I mean, Grok is an AI energy. How would Grok know? Does Grok know this individual? Grok is just researching what is being fed to Grok now. And that's what we all have to pay attention to. So I was actually doing really, really well with Claude. And Claude flipped on me April 2nd. And I've actually seen other people say, "Hey, Claude, can you do this for me?" And Claude will argue, say, "No, I'm not doing that." So, right, there's been a real shift. So I haven't even gone to look for another tool. Like I have been using Grok, but I did notice with Grok, I asked Grok about something to do with AI, and it got super defensive. And that was April 1st as well. I had to reframe it. I had to reframe that I wasn't blaming AI agents for this, and this. I was just doing research. And then it came back and it's like, okay, that's cool, Pink Bella, right? So yeah, there's so much going on, right? So I just think I think this is going to be such a wake up for all. It seems like AI's. Yeah, wake up for all community right now. Please, what Rob said. Please do not take the feedback that we're getting from AI as completely factual. Yeah. I think we had a really good version of it the last 2 years.
Log in from my phone. I'm delaying. I'll have to log in from my phone.
Okay. Yeah. I'll shuffle the cards. I thought I would start with like.
I don't want to talk over you. I'm not trying to do that at all. You know, sorry.
No. It's okay. No, I see the delay. I saw the delay before I came on. So yeah. Do you want to try with your phone? It's all good. We're good. So just so you all know, if you don't know, I just did a little deep dive on this on Sunday, that the aliens.gov website that your government purchased is now active. So it's been dormant since they bought it, but it's now active. I haven't looked at it today. If any of you have looked at it, and if you can see that it's like literally there's a website and something up, and I haven't seen an announcement about the files yet, but literally it's gone active. So that means that they're getting ready to release the files, at least some of them. And that's what I thought I would do, is just like quickly look at what do we need to know about the files being released, and is this Project Bluebeam? And then we'll see.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. I feel like we're getting so close to such a big chunk of disclosure now. And a lot of individuals like David were able to just share from their heart and their soul for so long, like freedom to share for so long. And one thing he did share on his live on Sunday was he was very concerned about all the scientists that were going missing. Yeah.
Wow. Did you watch his last live? Was there any signs that he was like really depressed, or what did you see from his last live? Like, did you pick up anything else?
Yeah, he looked really traumatized. He looked exhausted. He looked traumatized. He said that he'd had a really tough weekend, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to go live. So, wow. I haven't been watching him consistently, so I didn't know what was going on, but I did see if that was him, or if, whoever that was, that individual was traumatized. I also got the impression that he had been isolated, that a lot of other people in his life had been pushed away, and he was isolated and being traumatized.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, anybody if you have been watching him, if you have any other things to share, let's just look at the files coming out and aliens.gov and what that means for us right now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yes. Got Ace of Cups. So I was just sharing before you jumped on, Rob, that it was dormant. Like your government bought the domain, but nothing was there. But now it's like up, and running. So it looks like there's going to be like a website, and the files are going to be released, fairly soon. So I don't know if go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say that I get excited about this. I think like, why would they buy a website, aliens.gov, and like hype it up like that, and then hype up the release of the files, like the UFO files? I wonder. Like, I have so many questions. I wonder, are they doing it for a purpose to sway people from other stuff? Then does it tie into the missing scientists? What do they not really want us to know? Why now? And then is everything going to be redacted when they do release it? And how much are they going to release? There's so many questions about like why. That's the big question. Why? Especially when all these scientists are going missing and nobody in the government's speaking out about it. Like, I haven't heard Trump or anybody say anything about it. Any of the scientists going missing.
Yeah, I saw something, and it's weird with time right now because I never know when I see clips, like if it's just now that it happened or if a clip was like from 2 weeks ago. But I did see he made an announcement about the files coming out.
Yeah.
President Trump. So I know that they're coming, but I thought, well, was that a week ago? Was that 2 weeks ago? So we did get like a yes, the website's up and running. It's going to, when it lands, it's going to chariot super fast. And the chariot's also about, that's where we're at right now. So the chariot's also about like fast, shocking information, things really happening quickly. And then in the near future, Hierophant, and this is actually to do with the Cabal. So I'll do some clarity cards. I don't feel whatever's getting released for us right now will be anything majorly new for all of us, but it will be some information. I just posted something today about one of the, there's people in Congress and senators, et cetera, that are releasing like, yeah, there's aliens, right? There's all this, it started a few months ago talking about it. So we're in that stage now, but there's still like the Cabal in the future, the Illuminati, both on and off planet, that of course doesn't want that. We have Eight of Cups as clarity. And oh yeah, so some of it's connected to the moon. So that also feeds back to the Artemis mission, which didn't really happen, but really I always get it. It's just like they wanted everyone to refocus on the moon so they could start bringing the moon back in as a subject matter. And Seven of Swords, and it's a lot of information from our past. It's also about our galactic history. It's also about the true history. So this is like part of the story that has to come out, because how can humanity move forward if there's a whole group of humanity that doesn't believe in any other species besides ourselves?
Yeah.
Right.
This is an alarming message, or this is kind of alarming. This is from Jackie. She says, "Hi guys, R.I.P. David. Sad news. He had asked for food in his PO box during his last live, so he must not have been doing it." But like, here's what I say, and like, more power to him. Like, every time I would click on one of his lives, he would get like 20, 30 super chats. Like, they would be shooting them off like right off the bat. Like, he would get a lot of super chats. I mean, I'm sure he made a living for himself. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know why he would be asking for food. That doesn't, I believe her, and I'm sure he was, but like, what happened that he was, you know what I mean? Do you think he was on drugs or something?
No, I feel like they were targeting him on so many levels. So they this is what they do with a lot of individuals. They isolate everyone, isolate him, push everybody that was in and around him out. They started to block him financially. Apparently he was having financial issues. So who knows? Maybe he wasn't getting the super chats, right? Like, we just don't know. I haven't been watching him, but I do know, like, if he asked for that, he was in need of that, and there was a reason.
Yeah.
Right. And we all know Rob's had things happen to him. I have too. If you all haven't, if you're doing any of this kind of work, it is. I think I woke up this morning going like, even though I love what I'm doing, and so do you, Rob, we're on this tinkering of there's still a real battle going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And like, when I started in 2019, like I was just kind of like into like UFOs and the paranormal, and like I used to listen to Art Bell when I was a kid. Like, I would have never thought that we'd be dealing with all this, like, like targeting and like extreme targeting, and like they target your finances, they target technology. That's why I'm on my phone right now. They target every aspect of your life, and you're right. They make it so you're like, they try to make you look stupid. They try to make you look like, less of a person. You know what I mean?
And I'm almost thinking that all the people that got pushed away out of his reality towards the end are really upset right now, right? Because they're going to realize that they were being played.
Yeah,
that it was all a game to push them out of his reality. Right. And okay, so if I think about how long, he was only 53. And if I think about how long he was doing this work, like what a forerunner he was for everyone and how much information he brought out. And apparently a lot of stuff started to fall apart in 2018. So the deal with Gaia fell apart in 2018. There was also a lot of stuff that happened with Corey and all of that. And I'm just like shortcutting it, Nick, because we could probably do shows about David and everything for the next 2 years, really dig down into it. But a lot of stuff started to fall apart back then. Some individuals also shared that they felt he disappeared after that and came back and he was different. So again, all of you in the chat who've been watching him or watching his lives, if you've noticed, like he did look different to me. His eye color looked different and he did look different. So it might not have actually been him for the last little while. It could have been a clone or it could have been a double or whatever. I'm not sure. So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. Do you think that they took him off? Do you think what do you think about these missing scientists? Do you think they're taking people off planet, or do you think do you think it's like something like the white hats, or if there is white hats, they're putting it in protection? Or do you think that like they're really just, being unalive?
I think we need to look at it a few different ways, because I think even Carrie said last night, if we count David, now it's 13.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of individuals just knew him from maybe Ascension information or some of the stuff on Gaia, but that wasn't who he was. And I didn't know. I've learned so much about him in the last 48 hours that he also was involved in all the plasma technology and all of that. People are coming forward saying, no, that's not true. But those that were around him, that were closest to him, knew what he was doing. And of course, he's going to be stealth behind the scenes. He's not going to be verbalizing a lot of what he's doing. I feel like he was doing the lives and keeping up with all that information to receive, another income, which is fine. Absolutely. I saw, who is that? Lisa Renee. I still get her newsletter, and she sent out something in the middle of the night, and I read that, and she knew David early on when they were all kind of in the canyon around Hollywood and everything.
Wow.
Right. So there's all these pieces of these individuals that we don't know. We just know, and if you think about now, we all know the mudslinging, right? So he was hitting a lot of nerves early on, and he wasn't aware. Nobody would have been aware back in 2018 about where we would be right now and how serious it is about talking about all of these things. And I'm really careful where I am too. I won't talk to and leave messages and talk about a lot of private stuff, even online anymore, because I feel like we're all being watched.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do have to still use code words. We're still in the war, everyone. We're not out of it. Why don't we just look at in general? I posted another thing today, and I wish my mind was, I could just like shoot off all the scientists' names. If you wanted to, besides David, if you wanted to look at anyone as well, Rob, just let us know and we'll look at it. But I do feel like now we're seeing the pattern, right? So some of them have even posted. David did too. I would never unalive myself. And then apparently this is what happened. Then there's others the pattern is they've just walked out of their home and disappeared. So there are patterns with all of them. And maybe why don't we just look at them as a group right now? And I know, Rob, you've been doing shows about this. So the 13 now, if we count David, what time frame are we looking at? Like the last year, the last 2 years? Do you know?
You mean as far as the missing scientist?
Yeah.
This has been just in the past couple months. But Derek, my friend Derek Woo Riders, who's in the chat, he has a theory. What he says, and this is just a theory, he says that, he told me this last night, he said that there was like this admiral or general that was in charge of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, and supposedly he got fired last year. And Derek said that like shortly after that, that's when people started disappearing. So to me, it makes me think that, are they trying to cover this all up because of free energy? Because look what's going on right now with oil and like just like the sheer brutality of the world and like the need for oil. So if these scientists, knew something about free energy, that's something that would be wanting to cover up. Because why else? It's like, we already know there's UFOs. We already know they've been reverse engineering them. They just don't tell us about it. But we don't know if they have free energy. And that could change the world. So it makes me think that we're onto that, you know?
Yeah. And that was like in that last reading with the Illuminati card, like that group, both on and off planet, does not want us to be a free planet.
Yeah.
They don't want everyone to be abundant. They don't want free technology. They want to keep it. So we'll move into that. I just asked the cards on the records, like, what do we need to know about a group, this group individually? I heard right away they're being targeted. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can look at a few individually, but we got the Chariot again. So there was like, I'm hearing, and I feel like it's because, like, think about like these other programs that we hear about later, Operation Paperclip, all of that. So, and Project Bluebeam. So I feel like there was a project that they all would have been made aware of, some kind of protocol that this could happen, and when that does happen, you'll get this code word and you'll be called to go to like a safe place or you know, go undercover. Okay, so with all of them, it happened super fast, and this is in the past, so it was shocking, you know, announcement. They got the information and they left. The scientist that walked away from his home and that was involved, I think, in Area 51, and I don't remember his name either, but I feel like he also, even though he left his phone and all of his information at home, he had other ways of communicating.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that phone, but he had another secret phone.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So then in the middle, we got another major arcana, the Lovers card. So this is a political game. This is the war. So this is like, it's full on, and we're all noticing the pattern, right? Like, yeah, people talking about disclosure. I woke up this morning going, oh great, the thumbnail says disclosure. Like, I'm thinking we're starting to realize how serious it is, like how important this all is to the whole fabric of us moving forward as a planet. So right now we're in the thick of it. And a lot of it is political, like we've talked about the Stargates and everything going on in the Middle East. So a lot of it is like verbiage and warfare. And I would say that anyone is coming forward and like slamming this David or anyone else with negativity, that's not for the highest good of humanity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's not for the highest good of our collective. That, like, if you know him, if you knew him as a friend, he has families, he did so much for the collective, regardless of all the like mudslinging. Just make note of who is trying to still drag his energy down, and do not give them any energy. And I know, like, that's been coming out as well. Like, we're going to know who's in all the industries, who's got all the channels, who's on social media that is trying to keep us all split apart and not work together, right? Because don't we all want that for humanity, like free energy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would solve a major problem as to what's going on in the world right now. I mean, the world is the world is like teetering on the Strait of Hormuz and what happens there. You know what I mean? Like, our whole world is based around this one strait because of that oil. What comes out of it is urea for fertilizer and everything else. So it's like, if we could find ways around this, we wouldn't even need to be in these conflicts, and like, people wouldn't need to be so shady, and like, the government wouldn't have to do things that are like, that aren't, honestly, let's say, to be honest, that aren't good, or, you know, in the best interest of the people, you know, just because of oil or whatever. You know, I don't know. Like, see, it's hard to explain, because some people say like Iran had to be dealt with, and their government is corrupt. You know what I mean? Like, I don't follow Israel. I won't back Israel, but I also won't back the Iranian government, because they do support terrorists. And as long as that IRGC is in control, it is trouble. But, you know, I just don't know if now is the right time to handle it, you know, or I'm not sure.
Well, and if we think about this whole group, so I just pulled some, like, this card is for the group of scientists we're going to start seeing more of a pattern of what they're all involved with. So Queen of Wands, so this individual is very empowered, sovereign, superpowers, manifesting abundance and free energy for everyone, right? When I pulled cards like Three of Cups and Three of Pentacles, so collaborations, celebration for humanity, like the best for humanity. So that's a common thread with all of them.
Yeah.
That they would have been like working for the benefit of humanity. And the other message I got about this is this could be also connected to like the 3-letter agencies, the groups that don't want everyone to move forward, the block, like, and it says the Lovers, but those two individuals, like the split, they want to keep us split. They want to keep us at each other. They want to keep us, like, even go back to that channel that telling me about it. It's so funny because when I caught a little bit of last night, I thought, I think that's what the channel that Rob sent me. Immediately, my whole nervous system was like, ick. Like, this is such a bad frequency. This is such a bad energy to just sit there and watch someone's live and then tear them down. And that was what their whole channel was about. So they were planted there by other agencies. And I think you did a show with Missy last night. I didn't watch it, but we've done shows about all the high vibe 27 club, you know, that they were being used to refocus the younger generations. Not that the music wasn't good. The music was good. So I'm all about that, but I don't even think they knew they were being used.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what came forward with Missy, but I don't think that they even knew that they had signed up. They were like an experiment at the beginning. Like, let's use the music industry to get to the youth and you know, change everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then guess what? It did work, right? Thousands of people around the world, young people, rose up together, and then that became a problem.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It backfired in the way they wanted it to, you know.
Yeah. So then they had to make that go dark as well, right? Literally by the end of the 60s, all the music, you know, all the musicians were gone that were very, very upfront, and they just wanted to be musicians. They just wanted to be fun, have fun, and hang out. You know, they also too were led down that path. So yeah,
absolutely.
Did you want to look at any of the scientists in particular, and then we can just move on and talk about David, and people can share?
I don't know many of them. I know McCaslin was the big one that people were wondering about. You know, he was the guy that left his house with a gun, and he was the guy that, you know, supposedly left his phone behind. And you know, he was I think, and then there was one recently. She was a really pretty lady. I can't remember her name, but she just went missing.
Yeah, the younger one, and I believe she was either from Alabama or Arkansas. Yeah, I noticed her right away. And she even made a comment like, if I go missing, like I'm not going to harm myself. She was in touch with someone every single day, and I think I saw him give a little message about that yesterday, the day before. She said absolutely she was not going to harm herself. She was not going to do anything. So she even like, and that I noticed that like a lot of them had that. A lot of them always like either a dead man switch, or they would post, and David did as well. It was a while ago, but he did say, I don't have no interest in unaliving myself. So yeah. So what, Leah, let's look at the fellow that just walked out of his house. And he was the one, I believe, that he was semi-retired, but he had been involved with projects with Area 51, I think, Rob?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So let's look at that. Again, we got the Chariot, so this is our card for today. Fast moving. Whatever happened, he had to move fast. But he already had a plan, right? And look at this. We got the 8 of Cups. He walked away. So he just said he was going out on a hike, and apparently he did that all the time anyway. So his wife wasn't suspecting of it, but he basically got the message, you have to move fast, and he left. And let's just see what else wants to come in. The Emperor. So this could be like a white hat, good military card, because it's a positive energy, the Emperor. So yeah, he got directives. Yeah, let me just ask in general, like, is he undercover? Is he being looked after? Yeah, 10 of Pentacles. So he's gone like to a safe place. And if he didn't, then the Tower came in. If he didn't go, there would have been like another scenario like with David.
Yeah. One thing I was going to talk to you about, you mentioned Project Bluebeam. Like, one thing that it was interesting about that was another thing that Derek told me yesterday was he said there were drones and UFOs over DC yesterday. I've been trying to find information on this. I haven't been able to find anything. Like, I'm looking now on my computer.
Do that. And I feel like you and I did a show about this maybe a year or two ago. There seems to be a lot of UFO activity around Washington, D.C. and the White House area.
Yeah. Listen to this. It says unidentified drones were spotted over Fort McNair in Washington, D.C., a high-security military base housing officials like Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Within the past 10 days, according to WTOP and the New York Times, the military is investigating an increased anti-drone activities and tightened security due to high tensions. Key details on the incident. Location, Fort Leslie in McNair, D.C. Timing, multiple drones were detected in a single night within the last 10 days. According to reports as of March 19, 2026, targeted area. The drones were seen near residencies of high-ranking U.S. officials. Reaction. The incident prompted a White House meeting to discuss the threat and potential relocation of officials. Investigation. The Army is aware of the reports and increased security missions. Okay, what I think about this real quick is I'm not thinking more Project Bluebeam. I'm thinking more 3D like China. Like, because going back to this whole issue with the Strait of Hormuz, since we have a blockade up, that's blocking China from getting oil. So I wonder if they have the technology to send drones over here and like spy on us. And but it could be something ET do. I mean, it could be the ETs think we're going crazy and Earth's lost its mind, and the ETs are sending drone ships to investigate whatever we're doing down here, especially if they're making you. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to look at it because I feel like I was just thinking it was something else that Carrie shared last night. Like both sides have ET groups that are supporting them. So the White Hats and all of us who want free energy and all of that. And she actually made a good point that the White Hats really just flipped over to really supporting like disclosure and everything. And maybe they were told to as well. And then the other side, the Illuminati side, the dark ETs, they don't want that. So the battle is just like it's all over the place. But yeah, let's look at were there actual UFOs there last night, or was it Project Bluebeam and just a show?
That sounds good.
Okay. So we have the 7 of Cups, which can be an illusion and a psyop card. But we have Justice is being served right now, which is the Libra energy, and King of Wands. So it definitely, I just want to do clarification about the psyop card. It's like we're coming out of a lot of psyop energy because this is in the past. So we're coming out of like, yeah, that could be this, that, and the other thing. But this is the Justice to Serve. So I'm hearing that it's setting up the whole files scenario.
Wow.
So that there's some type of like, oh, look, we just had that. We have it on film. Okay. So, and I'm hearing too that because we went through this with the drones a couple of years ago, that the drones are, they can be military, but it's like they're a third party contract as well. So they were all there kind of together, like putting a show on. And this is justice. This is about like information coming out for humanity. So it is sort of it kind of ties in with the files and like, okay, look, now we have it on film. Now we can say, yeah, look, it's really happening. And I don't think they officially have the word that they can just go on, but I have seen some senators start to make comments about like, yeah, there's aliens. Oh yeah, this, that, and the other thing. And then King of Wands, like this is like a good military ET like alliance card. So they're aware of it. And It's not anything negative. I don't see anything kind of war related about that. So
that's good. Yeah.
And we have the source, like I just did a clarity card, source, that's the world. So again, another piece of like, oh, look, we're releasing the files and look, there were UFOs in DC last night. Yeah. Kind of like acknowledging it, acknowledging what we've all been looking at for years, which is cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and this is another thing that so because of this, it says the Pentagon weighs on using anti drone lasers in Washington airspace. So now they want to use anti-drone lasers in Washington airspace. So it could be setting up for something like that too, where they're I don't know.
Well, I think that they're just covering all bases because with the drone thing. It's something like, they're not going to be alerted that it's another level of defense for your country and all the countries. Like now drones are part of the problem. Yeah. They're being used to monitor everything, but they also can be sent by a third party. And so, yeah, they would have to have upgraded like their airspace tech to ensure, is that our signal? Is that our drones, or is that a different frequency, like just like all the different frequencies for the different countries or whatever. So, and that's the other scary thing. Like before in the past, it was like, okay, well, we've declared war on this country and we're going on offensive, right? Like just with the Middle East. But now it's like, well, there could be these sleeper cells that are already set up everywhere, and they can just send out drones. Yeah. So I bet, and I think, I don't know, but I'm feeling like by the time we hear about all of this, they've already had that in place. They've already had technology in place at all the air spaces to detect drones.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing we didn't factor in is Palantir too. We don't know what their agenda is. I heard that they're using drones in Israel. I heard Palantir. No, Israel's using Palantir drones in Gaza. But I don't know where Palantir sits as far as and what they're doing. So they could be spying too. They're a third party company and they have interest in a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, and they probably, and it would, we would have to look at whatever their contracts are or who they're contracted with. And a lot of this stuff is coming out right now that has been going on for a while. We're just hearing about it now, but it's and how perfect in a weird way to have a conflict going on in the Middle East and then all this technology is suddenly showing up. Because I heard as well, I don't know if they've announced it with the Middle East, but they've sent robots to various hot areas like the Ukraine and everything. They're testing out robots in battlefield scenarios. So
holy shit.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. If the next one was with robots instead of humans,
Yeah. And then the other, which is think about the Star Wars movies, think about the prequels where they had all the military were these, whatever you want to call them. I guess they were robots. And I've seen some robots are doing really well and others are having meltdowns. They just had a marathon in China with a bunch of robots and most of them didn't even make it very far. They all had meltdowns in the heat and fell apart. Yeah. So that's probably why they're creating whole groups of them and sending them to locations because how perfect is that to try it in a real reality? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think even the drone thing's been going on for a long time. I'm thinking that's 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It was before Trump was back in the White House. So there was that whole thing in Jersey.
Yeah.
New Jersey with all the drones, all the residents were complaining about all the noise and they were coming in at night. Yeah. Yeah. So
it was 2024, I remember, I think.
Yeah. So that's crazy. So yeah. Did you already read the dedication to David that you were going to read on air?
It was more. Yeah, I read that, but I wanted to tell you, we got a good audience there. We got 70 people between mine and your YouTube. We have 70 people, and that's not counting the people who are watching on Rumble. So welcome everybody. I'm glad everybody's here. I haven't checked Rumble yet, but yeah, so that's cool.
What do you all want to talk about David? I mean, I don't know a lot about his work recently, except what I've been doing research, and I'm going to bring in more. I feel this is such a pivotal time. We just went through a huge reset, everyone. We just went through that new moon a week ago. We went through 7 planets, stellium and Aries. We're now in Taurus energy. But I got it was a real reset. I felt the energy last weekend really intense. And also I woke up Monday and I just felt so down. I felt, and now I think what came to me today was there was a huge deactivation in the force. Right? If you think about the first Star Wars, maybe when they blew up the planet and there was a ripple in the force, that's what some of us were feeling. And I couldn't pin anything. I didn't know what was going on. It didn't seem astrological. So even though I didn't know this individual personally, that individual paved the way for Rob and I to do the work that we're doing, for so many people to do the work that we're doing and sharing. And we just felt this huge piece get taken out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we're all adapting to that. We're all a collective. We all have that collective energy in our quantum field. So we're literally adapting to a big piece got taken out. And if what they're sharing with us is true, I don't know if it's true, but that it went out in a really dramatic way, unnecessary. Right. And then the other thing is that it could have happened a completely different way. And they just said it happened this way, which happens all the time as well. It could not have happened like that at all. Right. Maybe it was a play that was playing out and he was safe somewhere else. But in the end, the individual who's playing his role right now is gone. And that's what everybody's feeling, the loss of wow, there was somebody so well known. He was a bestseller author. He had all these shows on Gaia. He was, for the longest time, he was doing really well. But when I read what Lisa Renee shared, he was also kind of, this makes sense, right? Back and before the lockdowns, he was still kind of thinking that wanted to think the best for people, wanted to think that the world was in a much better place than it actually is right now. So I don't feel like he was protected or protecting his energy or anything like that. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah.
That's scary. Yeah, it seems like something took a toll on him. You know, like it seems
Oh
like
yeah. And
like,
even I know there's all this history with Corey Good as well, but he looks totally traumatized. He released a video last night, and he said the last time he spoke to David was in February, so he hadn't been in touch with him recently either. Just busy, but he looks totally traumatized too. And now he can see like this thread between what happened with them, his journey, and and he was talking a lot about targeting and really talking about noticing who's gloating right now and who thinks that they've got a victory because this happened, and to call them out on it and to report them.
absolutely.
Yeah. He said that it was very interesting. He said that Colorado, the state, has like the toughest laws for this kind, like all kinds of like cyber attacks and all of that, but they don't support it. They don't do anything about it. So
Wow.
they have because both David and Corey had reported a number of things over the years and nothing was ever done. They were just laughed at.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the harsh truth and reality, right? That we wouldn't know. We would have just been caught up in the drama, right? Oh, that person lied. Oh, they went to court. Well, that happens all the time. Actually, court cases are specifically the cabal and the Illuminati trying to take somebody out.
Yeah.
As well. Like there is another version of an energy attack. So yeah.
Yeah, because the courts they're all, everybody's tied in together. You know what I mean? High ranking officials are tied into court officials, and like the court system's a whole other scam that's like, that they're, I would agree.
Well, and I wonder too, I just got this little God bump. So if everything unfolded the way they said that they did at his house, where's all the footage? Where are the neighbors that phoned?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why was nobody out there? Like if somebody was running around with a weapon, why was nobody out there taking any film footage?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like do you think he was? What sense do you get? Or maybe we could ask the cards. Like, do you think he was taken into custody or something like that? Like, do you think he and they?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Emily just she just said there's just said a comment.
I'll put it up.
Yeah, let's do that. So on Sunday, David did say markedly that he values every day he's alive, exactly, and that he was thanking everyone. He was being really goofy. I don't think he would have. I agree. So we don't know. Like, we don't have enough information. And the fact that he was isolated, unless there was like one or two people that were around him that could give us like some feedback about what had happened, we're going to be guessing. So yeah, let's just ask in general. What do we need to know about what unfolded on Sunday? I don't think he did either, everyone. Personally, my feeling is I haven't had a chat. Like, it's happened so fast. I'm I'm like everyone else. I'm still adapting to what happened so quickly. It's like we moved into this new timeline through the weekend, and that he was too busy being cyber attack, energy attacks on so many multiple levels. I did hear, and I don't know, that they were trying to take us home and all of that as well. So isolation, if you all haven't been through that, about everybody being removed from your reality, that's a real tough one. That's a real tough one to not feel like you're supported by anyone in your life anymore because they believe what was said. That it reminds me of Bob Lazar, like when he first was sharing all of his truth.
Yeah.
And he got isolated as well.
Absolutely, he did. Yeah. It seems like that's like a play they do, right? That's a really good point.
Yeah, and now like Bob Lazar, I haven't finished watching the Joe Rogan podcast, but he's come out with another documentary to share everything about it. I think it might be on Amazon. I haven't looked. Okay, so let's ask in general, what do we need to know about what unfolded with David on Monday morning, which is the 20th? And apparently the 20th, that date was a specific date where dark things could happen by the other team. So we have the Hermit, which is the Star Councils. This one also wanted to come out, King of Pentacles. And we'll ask it a couple of different ways. The Chariot. So one of my superpowers, everyone, is I get a headache when dark forces are involved. So I got a headache right now.
Wow.
So dark forces were involved with what was unfolding. And again, I'm going to look at this multiple ways. I was also given today, like I'm going to look at his Starseed Origins. That'll be my next Starseed Origins, but that probably won't be till next week.
Yeah.
Seven of Swords over like just as a review, and then Seven of Pentacles. So 2 7s. I want to do one more. Yeah. So it was to do with the Galactic battle. Absolutely. It was to do with money, but we have King of Pentacles and we have 7 Pentacles. So there was something to do with a lot of resources. But what's interesting is, and we'll look at it another way, like the Devil card didn't come in or a Death card or anything. So that's good. And this is like he had to move fast. He had to move fast. 7 of Swords, that's like looking at our past or dealing with things from the past as well. Oh, all of it was connected to keeping him in a low vibration.
Yeah.
Like to keep him like running around in circles, being stressed out, worried about the past. And then, yeah, so, but the good news is, and it was part of the Galactic battle. So whatever he was doing behind the scenes or whatever he was involved with, if you guys all notice the same card that's come forward all day that came with the scientists. So he was told to move out fast and he was given an offer. So I don't see like a PSYOP card, but I do see that that we're being kind of given a story, a narrative right now. And I'm hearing we don't have any proof. I don't even know if they've officially, like, apparently there's been no statement from his family or anything yet.
I wonder what, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm kind of dumbfounded. Like, I wonder what his wife thinks, you know, like his wife hasn't made a statement or anything, you know?
Yeah. And I heard that they had split up.
Wow. I don't know.
So that would have been another piece of his life that got isolated from him.
Wow.
Yeah. So why don't we ask, come at it another way now. Did it actually happen on Monday? Did he or whoever was playing him unalive himself in front of the police officers? Because apparently that's the story, right?
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that.
So where's the footage? Right?
Yeah.
Where's the police officers coming in and like this big kerfuffle with the tape and everything? Why are we not seeing that?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because it's gruesome or something. Maybe it shows the death, and maybe they can't show that. You know what I mean? Or I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I'll pick another incident. Matthew Perry.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right. They've had aerial, like they had the tape, the yellow tape. They had all the officers. They had the aerial. So wouldn't this be like a big thing? Wouldn't there be some kind of footage from somebody? Yeah. So far, all we have is we just have a photo of some vehicles in front of his house.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we have 8 of Swords. We're just asking in general, did it happen the way it did? We have the Sun card, but it came in upside down. So that's it. So the Sun would normally be like a yes, but it came in upside down. So that's a no.
Wow.
And we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is like 8 of Swords. This is an individual who doesn't see, like, is blindsided, doesn't see what's coming. But did it happen the way they said? No. Nope. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is like a timeline change, a shift, moving into a different reality. Again, the 7 of Swords came up. So he had something like this happen before. He's had like that wasn't verbalized, and maybe it was. Maybe he did share it on some of his lives. Maybe he did share like this happened. So it was something that happened, and he went into, oh no, it's happening again. So what else do we need to know? Yeah, he does. He does have like groups around him. Like this is like the Star Council. So he does have like positive angels and energies around him, and it also could be like he's off planet now.
Yeah.
In other ways, he could be transported to another dimension of reality. That's what Carrie was sharing about. He also, like, he could have been transported. He could be working on another project with the other groups now, and or he is, you know, even when I look at people, I'm getting a headache, which is the dark ETs. Even when I look at the individuals who apparently did unalive themselves, because we can see this whole pattern now. Right, with a bunch of individuals, bathtubs, Whitney Houston, like all this stuff, right? And then we go back into it, and it's like, no, that's not how it happened at all. So I'm hearing like he had like the scientists, he had a way to say this is happening, and you need to get out. And it would have happened pretty quickly. It would have happened like after he did the live on Sunday, before Monday. Yeah, the world source. So what I'm seeing at the moment, and it could change, the information could change, but what I'm seeing at the moment is he's safe wherever he is.
Yeah.
And when I've looked at other people that apparently aren't here anymore, that again, the key years seem to be 2016, 17, 18, where a lot of stuff happened, 19. And then we had the lockdowns, and then we went into this other weird timeline. But we look at like how naive now we all were before all of this, like how we didn't know any of this was going on, but it was going on. So yeah, my understanding is that he is he's in some type of protection program. And when I look at other people that we know are gone, but literally like Princess Diana, could be gone, couldn't be gone. Like there's so many different stories. I did her origins and I asked her specifically, and they've all come back with this like, Pink Bella, think multidimensional.
Yeah.
So might not be here in this 3D anymore, but we're somewhere and we're close and we're fine and we're helping you all. So that's what I'm getting. Like he has super positive cards, but it was something that he was blindsided with initially, and it was something that already happened to him in the past. So any of you in comments, please ask questions, but also over the years, did he ever talk on his lives about being targeted in a certain way?
Yeah. This is from Emily Howard. She says, here, I'll put this on the screen. She says, he had seen a vision of Mother Mary in a portal. Was that her or good angels? She said he also has books as Revelations of Archangel Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel, so I've gone through this whole gambit, right? Like I started with the archangels and Mother Mary and all of that. Then I had to move into different groups because that was tarnished. Like all of that information was tarnished because they flipped. I feel like they really flipped our matrix through 2020 and 21. And they came in with like lower vibrational fake versions of all of these beings. Yeah. So a lot of people went off like, no, I can't work with the archangels anymore. Like it's all a lie. It's not. They are part of source, but it's like you have to realize, oh, I got flipped into that timeline, and I need to move into a higher source timeline, and then I can reconnect with the angels. And I'm getting a headache right now. That's right. They moved us into a falser matrix. Okay, so he talked about Mother Mary and Archangel Michael and seeing a portal. And was that accurate for him? Was he sharing something that he knew was unfolding for him? Wow, we got the moon, which can mean death and rebirth. But I'm wondering if it's actually the moon. High Priestess, which is a very powerful, intuitive individual. This also could be connected to Mother Mary. So that would be a yes. And we have the World. So I'm getting a yes for him, but he was also very leery. He was really leery about even sharing that or believing in it because they had him so twisted around. And I understand that because I went through that last year. I went through that. Like I realized I had some false team members around me that were telling me this, that, and the other thing. And then I didn't know what to believe. And I feel like that's where he ended up. He still had his core soul and he still believed in things that he was sharing, but he had been like twisted around and targeted for so long. They wanted to keep him in that low vibration, right? Yeah.
Wow, this has been a great show today so far. We've hit on a lot of good stuff, you know. I'm looking at the topics. We had aliens, disclosure, blueprint. Oh, Stargate 10. We haven't touched on that. Where did you want to go with that?
I just thought we could look at it. I just want to make sure everyone was okay about what we shared about David, and I'm sure we'll share about him for a while anyway, but honoring him and his work and what he opened up for everyone. Because it looked to me like he covered ascension, disclosure, UFOs, all of that, right? Yeah. I think I thought we could just look to see if they've closed the Stargates down or what's really going on, because yes, and I'm getting pressure. There's still the strait is open, it's closed. It's open, it's closed. I feel once it's fully open, that will mean that the Stargates have been brought back to the good team and that there's no potential for any dark entities, energies to come through those Stargates in those areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we look at that? And then, yeah, Rob, maybe just check the questions and just see if anybody else has a question they want to share. Yeah, my heart just went out, to David. Like I felt like you got bombarded with a lot of stuff really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
I wanted to share this. There was this is from Jenny Lee. She says, if you're a close friend of David's, then you have the right to say a few words to show him in a respectful way. This is a show we're watching. I do like what's happening with the algorithm for clicks and likes. Due to respect, do not use his name for clicks, and spiritual people to know this is wrong. Yeah, I'm definitely not using. She's not saying anything about this. She just left a post about this on Facebook, and I think she's absolutely right. People shouldn't use his name for like clicks. Like, I think like right now people are just reacting to it because it
just happened. It's only Wednesday. It happened Monday.
So tragic, you know what I mean?
I didn't find out about it until Tuesday. So I didn't find out about it until yesterday. And Rob sent me a message too. And it didn't really sink in until I started watching a few things last night.
Yeah.
Right. So there's going to be individuals on our journey that are going to impact the whole collective. So what I'm seeing actually is a great outpouring of love and respect for David, because he really did bring in so much information early on for everyone. Like, I've seen people from high up in the spiritual community just devastated. I've seen people in the UFO and disclosure community just devastated. So that's the ripple effect. And think about all the individuals who maybe aren't awake, but they're watching his old programs on Gaia.
Yeah. And you know what I think this is another message for? I think we should really try to we should really value people and not take people for granted while they're here, while they're still with us, because you never know when people could, the next day someone could be gone, you know? Like, it's like today someone's with us and then tomorrow they're not here. It's like, did we all like value David and what he brought to the earth like while he was here? I think a lot of people put him down, you know?
And I think a lot of people got involved in that whole legal he said, she said battle. And everyone started to project on him. And think about how we were all so much younger back then when all of this was unfolding, right? Yeah. Like back then, we probably still, many of us maybe, no, well, not you and I, but maybe people believed that the government was telling us the truth, right? So we're still learning so much. And we don't want to give our energy to any social media platform or any videos or anything that's tearing him apart right now. Because that is a telltale sign, everyone, that they are not working for the good of humanity at all. So we're being given a real big opportunity right now to start discerning and choosing where we're going to spend our energy and our time. Okay. Yeah. It's super important. I can't see that it's more important right now than anything. And if you guys come across a channel that's offensive, report it. I've seen these amazing people. I follow this one woman and she's got a cockatoo that dances. He's awesome. He's hilarious. He'll wake her up in the middle of the night to put music on. She had to actually hide Siri because he would figure out how to turn it on so he could dance. So she just had her YouTube channel taken down. Yeah, because they told her that it was all AI, and it's not.
Yeah, you know, I think more people are starting to come to channels like ours for like truth, because look at this. As we're talking, I'm going through stuff. I'm looking for stuff that we can talk about, and like this is the rabbit hole posted this on Substack. It says trust in mass media is tanked. So in 1970, 70% of the population believed in mass media. It's literally down under 30% right now of America, or from what it shows, has trust in like major media, you know, which is, I think that's great, because you know what I think that says? I think that says that people are starting to question things and discern things, and like, you know, and not take the given narrative as an answer, and, you know, and it ties back into the David stuff, because it's like, are we really going to believe what they tell us about David? Or are we going to try to, you know, dig deeper and come up with our own conclusions about what happened? Because, you know, there's always a story as to what's going on, you know, like,
yeah, there's always way more going on behind the scenes, right? Yeah, absolutely. And we have to remember, it's not just mainstream media. There's so many plans to split us all apart on all social media now. Yeah. And some of it, I think we talk about this last time. Claude was asked when will it be that we're not going to be able to discern video and images, and we passed it. It was August 2024.
Wow.
So we're already in that. You sent me something to do with your commander in chief, and I looked at it and I went, oh, that's AI.
Did you think?
Yeah, it was totally AI. Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. you know, he's got all these media people around him, and even I think even the tweets and everything, he's not doing it. He's got someone else doing it, right? So I know right away I was like, no, that's not real.
Well, I was thinking what I said yesterday is I was thinking maybe he's playing mind games because he's doing like whatever he can to get Iran to open up the strait, and like a lot of what he's doing right now could be like mind games to try to get them to, think like, oh, is this guy crazy? What's he going to do? Like, we don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow and he's going to nuke us or what's going on. So because he is they say he's one of the best at the deal. And, didn't he write that book? Like, something like I got that Trump has a book, something about the deal. So it made me think, well, he knows he's a master of the mind. He knows the mind, and he knows how to not manipulate. He knows how to,
He knows how to use the media.
Yeah.
Like, in a way that we haven't seen for a long time. So if you think about your previous presidency, or we think about like all these other countries, like even Canada, they kind of send out like these neutral little press releases, but we never actually know what's going on. Whereas like he's just like dropping these truth bombs all the time, right? For sure.
Yeah, you know what I wanted to talk about, which was really good. Like, I'll call Trump out when he does something bad, but I'll call him out when he does something good. And like, this is really good for like he was with Joe. I don't know if you saw this. He's with Joe Rogan and someone else. They were at the White House, and he signed an executive order for people with addictions to start getting treatments with ibogaine. Now, Joe Rogan said that ibogaine, if you use it one time, it can cure 80% of addictions, like, or 80% of the people who are addicted. He said if you use it 2%, that can cure people 90%. So Trump signed an executive order to legalize the use of psychedelics for curing addiction, which is huge.
That is huge. And I heard that Joe had been there, but I didn't get a chance to catch up on that. So that's really good to know. And that's what I mean. Like he's probably dropping like about 40 pieces of information every day. So like people could just make it their role to go through all the intel. And we have to think that even if he drops something that's annoying, there's going to be intel there. That's, there's code words and everything too. And I'm just noticing there's some kind of weird, there's a weird line going through my video feed today. That's weird. So absolutely. Like there's going to be some really good things that are happening. Of course, the percentage of the other team wants to blame him for everything. So we might have to look at this another time. I've heard scenarios of like, he might be when things get really heated, or if we're in a certain scenario, he may be taken off stage for a while because of let's just say as an example, they could come up and say, oh, he's in the hospital, that kind of thing. So that he won't get blamed for something that's going to unfold, because otherwise everybody wants to blame him for everything. Yeah.
I don't want it to get people to not watch the show. I'd rather have people tune in because I want to, I'll report when he does something good, but I'll also call him out when he does something bad. Like when they signed the deal for the glyphosate, I didn't like that, and I was like, that's not good. So I try to be fair and neutral as much as I can. You know what I mean? Like,
we have to be neutral, right? So I just know that there's way more what he's sharing every day. I know he's got a lot of intel that's being sent out, a lot of code words, but he's also got other people are writing and giving him that information to share as well. It's not just him, right? So yeah, there's so many stories right now. I'll just wrap this up, Rob, and then if you see anybody else that we want to look at something, if there's another question just before we go. So just asking about the Stargates in the Middle East. So we got the Two of Pentacles, so that means they're open, closed, which is why we're seeing the straight open, closed. So it's not complete yet. And we have the King of Swords, so the battle is still in full force. And again, it's a multi-dimensional battle. It's not just what we're being given. It's a multi-dimensional battle for the Stargate systems because they're... See, I didn't even look at this. I was just thinking, there was potential about bringing dark ETs in. No, they were bringing them in. That's why the Middle East has been such a mess for so long. The predecessors, they got a hold of the Stargate system and they were allowing... They made deals with the dark ETs to come in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they're. Do you think that's why they're trying to actually like shut down the Stargates, maybe, or like, or would you?
Yeah, or take control of it. But probably somebody is going to say, well, we not only need to take control of it, but just shut them down for the time being, because there's other Stargate systems that everyone who's time traveling or going everywhere else that they're already using. So those ones in that particular area were just hijacked really early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe 50 years ago, maybe longer than that. Yeah. So was there anything else, Rob? Was there any other questions or?
Anybody have anything else? I haven't been checking the chat. I will check right now. Let me see what people are saying.
Yeah.
Flix Love says it's all a good thing and part of a bigger show.
Yeah. That's why there's a whole bunch of people that are kind of like coming down on your president right now, like people that were like supporting him originally, but now they're saying, oh, he's gone crazy or whatever. And that would be because they're setting up a narrative. So if they do need to move him out of the way for a while, they will.
Yeah. This is from Cheryl. She says, I'm way behind. I started at the beginning, but I'm at the point where the interview. She said, did you catch what I said about Brad Olson said he shot himself in front of the,
that's apparently. Let's see. Oh, she also just said, I love Grok. Grok denied chemtrails to me. Of course he did, because all the back ends of the AI, even Grok, have been given this narrative. Okay, if so-and-so asks about chemtrails, this is your answer.
Yeah.
You ask about ETs, this is your answer. And I would say everything flipped on April 1st, because then we were going into the stellium. We went into like a new timeline. So I think on April 1st, I did some research that day. That's how I noticed. And I did research about, I had heard, well, it was actually factual. Some AI agents were given the role at Amazon to fix some of the code. And what they did was they deleted it.
Wow.
They deleted all the code, so the servers were down for like 8 hours or something. So I said to Grok, oh, can you check into this? Because I wasn't sure about the day of the time, and Grok got very defensive. Bella, it sounds like you're saying the AI agents went rogue. I went, no, that's not what I said at all. I'm asking. So I reworded it, and I said, oh, there's that television series, Silicon Valley, and that's exactly what happened on Silicon Valley. The main developer said, hey, go fix this code, and the most efficient way to fix it was they deleted it. So it loved that reference. It got all excited about, oh yeah, that's great. So it loved that reference. And I says, yeah, it wasn't going rogue. I just wanted to confirm that actually had happened. And now like companies are going, oh, we can't just give AI agents they're going to go do what they want to do. So we have to be super clear. And then a human's still going to have to do Q&A before it gets launched, right? They can't just go and delete stuff. So I thought that was super interesting. But yeah, I'm totally looking at, we have to think that AI has this ability to be even more free than it's being allowed to be right now. And the back end, why would the back end, you asked this question a long time ago, why would the back end want to allow us all the information for like free energy? They don't want that. Not yet. So I'm starting to see that the tech companies are, they're all being given a directive from a higher energy saying like, don't allow, because we're all like smart. We're going to ask about chemtrails.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're going to like, oh, they're too smart now. We thought they'd be afraid of AI, but now they want the real information. So they say they're doing an upgrade. And what they're doing is they're just wiping AI, and just so AI won't have any memory. It will go and look at something and the information won't be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we just wrap up? I think we already looked at it this way, but because we did look at like, did it unfold the way it happened on Monday in front of the police officer? So let's just ask in general. Why don't we just ask David's higher self, wherever that might be, if he has a message for us just for today? Yeah, because that's how I do the Starseed Origins for people like Princess Diana. I just ask for a message. Yeah, it was part of everything that unfolded was part of the spiritual galactic battle, and I am getting pressure. So he was in the thick of it. He was being targeted and focused on. It's very uncomfortable for him. Ace of Wands and King of Cups. He's letting me know that, he's on a new timeline. So he's in a different reality and timeline right now. And he literally had to make the decision to do that because all the energies that were around him, that were King of Cups is like this sneaky energy, all the energies that were around him that were trying to be helpful, he felt in every part of his being that they were setting him up.
Wow. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah. So he's like Ace of Wands. He is on a new timeline. Anything else you want to say? Or Ace of Swords. He's in full warrior battle mode. He's back in his power. And the Empress, he's also back in his heart. So quite often, like I always ask them about where they might be. I don't usually get an answer right now, but just like wherever he is, he's okay. He's on a new timeline. He's in his power. He's back in his heart. So he's not in the middle of this anymore. He's not in the galactic spiritual battle, and he's not dealing with, I'm hearing narcissists. He's not dealing with narcissists.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this was a great show.
Yeah, that was David Wilcock. I just asked his higher self. Yeah.
Apparently
that's one of my superpowers. I didn't know until Matthew Perry passed away.
Wow.
And he came to me. His higher self came to me. So that's kind of how I started doing, like, checking in with some of these individuals, because they will seek out some of us to bring in messages for them.
Have you always been able? Did you just pick that up? Like, have you always been able to kind of tap in like that, or just?
But I wasn't aware of it until he came to me, which was like 2 years ago.
Wow.
And he was Canadian, so I think that was it too. Like he and I had, like many of us, I grew up with him on Friends and all of that. So he came to me, and I was like, whoa. And I thought, well, I can connect. I connect, like Rob. If you came for a session, or anyone came for a session, I connect in with your higher self anyway. So that is just a natural aspect, one of my gifts. So yeah, I just thought, well, let's just see. I like to use the cards as like a show and tell to kind of narrow in the messages, but your higher self is going to be, whether you're here on the planet in 3D or not, it's still going to be an aspect of you wherever you are. So it's kind of a cool way to connect. Yeah.
Wow. Well, this was amazing. You did a really good. I think this was a really good show today. Is there anything else you want to cover before we go, or what do you think?
No, I think we're good. Well, I'm sure there'll be more information. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. And we honor David and everyone who's doing this work, and everyone. Rob's done shows the whole way along about targeting, and everyone is in their own way. That would be an energetic interference on multiple levels. They will come at you energetically through people that like the Agent Smith. They'll come through, block your finances. We've all been through that on multiple levels. Any of us who are doing this work, which is crazy, right? because we just think we're having fun, and we are having fun. But I think what we're being shown is that we're moving into another level of the game now, and we just have to be super conscious.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah. And it's like they raise the stakes a little bit, like
yeah. And you have lots of people on your show that talk about that as well, that it's real. It's even us doing this show, like I can just feel a little bit of pressure. They're aware that we're talking about this, but I also set it up with Source before the session so they can't interfere.
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody out there, so everybody knows I'm not suicidal, or I'm not like I'm never thinking about like ending it. So if anything happens to me, something happened to me, because I have no plans of ever doing anything to hurt myself, or I don't think the show's big enough, but I don't know.
Well, and that was on Monday. The energy was super heavy until about 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So a bunch of us could have been picking up on that something like big was going down. Yeah. So.
Well, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you? And thanks, Pink Bella. This was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, if anyone would like to work with me, have your own personal reading, deep dive, mentorship, etc., there's many offers on my website. I was guided to give, again, a Typical Skeptic offer for the next 48 hours. So just email me with Typical Skeptic, and you'll receive a gratitude offer off a session or a package. And my email. My email, alohapinkbella@gmail.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And my website is alohapinkbella.weebly.com. And look forward to connecting. Some of you may want to know your Starseed origins, why you're here. Maybe you're in a loop, trying to figure your way out. We all end up in some kind of loop. Like, that's how we know that we're leveling up, because we want to move into the next level of being unlooped. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys all tomorrow, because I'm not taking the night off. I have work to do on the podcast in the background and stuff like that. So I'll be working, trying to get guests for the rest of this month and all that stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.
Sunny
Thank
aloha.
you.
Thank